Small crimes, small time. Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and today we're going to review Small Crimes. So, Small Crimes stars Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, and what this film is basically about. It's about this guy who was an ex-cop, and, after serving 6 years in jail, he's finally let out. And let's just say there's some things that he kind of gets himself into after getting out of jail. And yeah, the movie starts to take some turns, and of course I won't spoil them, but yeah, that's the basic premise of this movie. Now, what did I think of Small Crimes? Now, Small Crimes, I had no idea what this movie was. Like, literally, I went on Netflix, and I was just like, what's this movie? Like, I literally have heard nothing about it. Like, literally, I just clicked on it. I was like, I saw Nikolaj Coster-Waldau on the cover of it, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I'll see what it is. And I gotta say, what a pleasant surprise. What just a surprise to watch, because, man, I loved Small Crimes. Small Crimes is a great crime thriller dark comedy. It is fantastic. I absolutely loved Small Crimes. It is a great movie. I loved Small Crimes. So let's get into why I love Small Crimes. So the positives in the positives is the acting. The acting is actually really great in this movie. I thought everyone did a really great job in the film. Nikolaj Coster-Waldau was fantastic. I loved him in this movie. He just brought so much to this character. Like, he really did, and I really appreciate that. He was really great in this film. This might be his best non-Game of Thrones performance, really, because all the other movies I've seen him in have not been the greatest, and he wasn't the greatest in. But, however, in this movie, he was actually great. I loved him in the film. He did a really great job in this movie. I loved him in the film. His character is not the greatest of people. He's done a lot of bad things, but you want to root for him. Like, you actually want to get behind his character and root for him, actually. And it's really because, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau just gives such a great performance. And his character is very layered. I will say, his character is very layered in this movie. I really love that a lot. And, it's just great. I love how layered his character is in this movie. He does such a fantastic job. And Nikolaj Coster-Waldau just gives a really great performance in the film. And everyone else was great too. Like, I enjoyed the supporting cast a lot. So yeah, the acting is really great in this movie. The dark humor works a lot in this movie. It really does. Like, because I didn't know this movie was a dark comedy going into. Like I said before, I had no idea what this movie was until I saw it on Netflix. So I had no idea this was a dark comedy. So when I started laughing at like these dark situations, I was like, is this supposed to be a dark comedy? And it was pretty funny. Like, the situations that happen in this movie are very, very, very dark. But they do it in such a humorous way that's just so fantastic. It's darkly funny, hence being a dark comedy. So, I do think the humor is actually very well executed in this movie. I was laughing a lot during this film, so yeah. I love how this is more of just a character story movie. I love movies that are just about characters, really. Some few recent examples, like, Hell or High Water, that was a very, character-driven film. Even the most recent film I saw, I Don't Want to Live in This World Anymore. I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. That was a very great character study movie, and this one was too. I thought this was a nice, great character study film, and how layered this main character is, and when you find out certain things that happen with this character in the past, or even now, you're like, oh. And just the kind of the twists and turns that this movie takes were actually really good and unexpected. And I liked that a lot in this movie, actually. So yeah, I appreciate how much of a character story this movie was. It was a very great character study. And I liked that a lot. Like, it focused a lot more on characters than just say, like big action scenes or whatever. I actually loved that a lot about this movie. And like I said, with the twists and turns, it actually worked a lot in this movie. And I actually quite loved them a lot. The writing is absolutely brilliant. This has got to be one of the best screenplays I've seen all this year so far. Like, the screenplay is absolutely fantastic. I love the writing with this movie. It's so fantastic. And so brilliant. The directing is fantastic too. I believe the director's name is Evan Katz. Katz. I believe that's his name, and he just does such a great job directing this film. Very well shot, very well edited. The cinematography is absolutely beautiful with this movie. So yeah, I thought the directing was just absolutely fantastic. Very well shot, very well edited. I just love the directing with this film. Very, very nice directing with Small Crimes. And the pacing is really great too. The movie's an hour and 35 minutes. I never felt like it was rushing or dragging really. Like it moved at a very nice, natural pace. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. And I love that a lot about this movie. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. An hour and 35 minutes is perfect for this movie. And I love that. Like, it moves at a great, natural pace. I was never bored in this film. Now, the only issues I do have with Small Crimes are first being that they talk about a certain event that happened in the past, and that's what led, Josh, who is Nikolaj Coster-Waldau's character, to jail. And they talk about the certain event a lot during this. And I wish they could have shown, like, what happened. Like, a little bit of a flashback of what happened in this certain event, just to kind of, see what transpired and everything. I wish I would have seen that. They just really talk about it. We never really get shown what actually happens during that crime and why it led, why it led to his arrest. So yeah. And lastly, I will admit the ending to the movie, like, it's not bad. It's not bad ending. I actually appreciate it a lot for just being an ending that was different from, like, stories like this, like, kind of like redemption stories like this. But at the same time, it kind of left a kind of a hole to me, like it left a little bit of a hole to me. I was like, they could have done something just a tiny bit better to me. Like I said, I appreciate the ending. I appreciate it. Like I said, I think it's a very different ending from most of these, like, redemption type stories. But at the same time, I'll say I'm mixed on the ending. I'll say that. It's a very mixed ending, mixed bag ending for me. And I will say it did leave a little bit of an empty hole, but I will say it does, and I also really appreciate it a lot because it was very different from, a very different ending from stories like this. So yeah. But overall, Small Crimes, check it out, really. Just go on Netflix. If you have Netflix, go and watch it. It's a Netflix original movie, and it's great. I loved it. So it's time for my official grade on Small Crimes, and my official grade on Small Crimes is an A-. I loved it. It's such a great crime thriller dark comedy. It just works so well to me, and it's so fantastic with great acting, great twists and turns, fantastic dark humor, and a brilliant screenplay. Small Crimes is a great movie. I think a lot of you should check it out, really. Don't miss out on it. It's such a great movie. Definitely one of the best of the year so far. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Definitely deserves an A-. So, if you have seen Small Crimes, what did you think of it? Leave in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.